Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us for our webinar, COVID-19 Resources from the Small Business Development Center, presented by Ashley Duckman, the Vice President of Government Affairs at the Maryland Chamber of Commerce, and Laura Brown, Deputy Director of the Small Business Development Center. We're also glad to have consultants Greer Mellick and Mark Wells join us to assist with the Q&A portion of today's webinar. Before we start today's webinar, I'd like to provide some information on the Maryland Chamber, as well as some helpful housekeeping information. Founded in 1968, the Maryland Chamber of Commerce is the leading voice for business in the state. Grassroots advocacy is at the heart of what makes membership in the Maryland Chamber of Commerce so valuable. On behalf of our 4,500 members and federated partners, we advocate for legislation and policies that ensure sustained economic growth for Maryland. Today's call will be inclusive of Q&A. To submit a question to our presenters, please use the chat feature within the Teams live events platform. If you have questions following today's webinar, feel free to send them to mdchamber@mdchamber.org. Today's call will also be recorded and available on our website in the coming days. And with that, I'll hand it over to Ashley.
Thanks, Marie. Very much appreciate this and everyone who has joined us today. As you know, many of you on the line, that the Chamber has, since we have found ourselves in this COVID-19 situation, tried our best to identify subject matter experts and partners that could bring our membership valuable information as they try to navigate this crisis. And the Small Business Development Center centers and organization have been such a tremendous partner to us for many years and for a long time. And so we know that they're doing a lot of work in this space and wanted to bring you their information and resources that they have available. So we're delighted that Laura Brown, who is the Deputy State Director of the Small Business Development Center, has joined us along with her colleagues to walk you through generally what they do and what resources would be available to small businesses as we navigate the COVID-19 crisis. So as Marie mentioned, if you have questions throughout, please submit them in the chat box and we'll get to as many as we can before the end of our webinar today. And with that, I'll turn it over to Laura.
Thank you, Ashley. The one thing I know for sure is we're living in strange times. What's true today may not be true tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. I'm the Deputy Director of the Maryland Small Business Development Center, or the SBDC for short. I've asked two of our consultants to join us on this webinar to answer your questions. They're Greer Melnick and Mark Wells. So I plan to leave a lot of time at the end of the presentation to allow plenty of time for questions. I want to thank the Maryland Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity to tell your members about the resources at the SBDC. This is a very difficult time for businesses all over the country. However, it is particularly difficult for small businesses. Next slide, please. The Maryland SBDC is part of a national network of 62 SBDCs located throughout the U.S. and its territories. We're hosted at the University of Maryland and funded primarily by the U.S. Small Business Administration, the state of Maryland, counties, and local colleges and universities in Maryland. We provide customized assistance to prospective and existing small business owners at no charge to the business owner. We provide comprehensive assistance in a variety of areas, including market research, financial analysis, human resources, and strategic planning. We also collaborate with many of the local economic development entities in the state. Next slide, please. We have more than 20 locations in all corners of the state that are grouped by regions. This is a map from our website that shows our regional structure. In order to find an office near you, visit our website, go to the Locations tab, and click on the map. Next slide, please. Now I want to move to internal resources. We provide one-on-one customized advice to small business owners. Due to the current public health crisis, we're providing assistance by teleconference, web conference, and email. Wait times are a little longer than usual, but many of the consultants provide online calendars so you can schedule your appointments in your own time. If you are a returning client, reach out to your consultant directly. Contact information for them will be on the Locations tab in our website. If you're seeking assistance for the first time, please visit our website and select the option that applies to your status from the consulting drop-down menu. We also provide training on several topics related to the current health crisis. Some upcoming topics include survival tips for government contractors, HR strategies to handle social distancing and remote employees. There's a 6-week coaching program to help you survive, then thrive. And next Thursday, we have a Q&A with SBDC business consultant schedule. You may register for these and other classes on our website. At this time, all classes are offered at no charge to the participant. And also, I also might want to add that the counseling is also at no charge to the participant. Next slide, please. Other resources that you can access on your schedule are located. Other resources that you can access at your leisure are located on our website. We have a new web page dedicated to COVID-19 resources, which you'll see in the picture to the right of the slide. On that page, you'll find links to relevant tools that can help you make good decisions about your next steps. One tool in particular that I want to highlight is the Maryland SBDC Survival Guide. You'll see that in the bottom picture on the right side. The Survival Guide is a living document that is updated in real time. When we learn of a process change or additional resources or tools, we update the Survival Guide. This guide includes a table of contents and it is searchable so that you can find relevant information quickly. We highly recommend that you check the guide regularly to see any updates. Next slide, please. Now I want to turn to the external resources that we have found helpful. There are many great resources on the web, including the resources that are provided by the Maryland Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to focus on just a few. At the state level, the Maryland Business Express site has a lot of great information about the programs available through the state government. The Maryland Department of License and Labor has information about unemployment insurance claims and the work sharing program. Any employer with 25 or more employees who will be impacted by the coronavirus-related layoff or shutdown may be eligible to take advantage of the bulk claims program. The state's work sharing program may provide a viable alternative to layoffs for some businesses. Check with your local economic development entities. A number of counties and municipalities are offering some form of assistance to the business community. And finally, look to the non and for-profit private entities. Companies like Amazon, Facebook, and JP Morgan are offering relief for small businesses. These and others are listed in the Maryland SBDC Survival Guide. Please look at the funding options section of that guide. Next slide, please. By now, I'm sure you've all heard of the resources available through SBA. I will not discuss these at length. I just want to list the programs. The newest program is the Payroll Protection Program, or the PPP. Those applications must be submitted through banks. The EIDL loan, EIDL loans, are direct loans from SBA, and there are also applications that we have available through our website, and we can help you to apply for that loan with our consultants and through the website. The Centers for Disease Control has a lot of useful information specifically for small businesses. I suggest that you check that site frequently for updates. And OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration website, provides information on maintaining a safe workplace during this public health crisis. And finally, check the IRS website for information about tax relief and economic impact payments. Next slide, please. I want to end by leaving you with a few tips that can help you sustain your operations through the crisis and beyond. Our retail and restaurant specialist, Garrett Glover, provided these tips. First, reach out to your customers using online marketing tools. Provide status updates and create FAQs. It's really important that your customers know if you're still operating, that you're still operating and that you're still open and that perhaps you're providing services in a different way. So it's really important that you reach out to them. Second, seek opportunities to offer business-related services for which you can charge upfront deposits or serial payments over time. For example, a caterer might call their clients and offer to deliver lunches to the client's employees 1 day a week. Another option, another possibility is offer personalized online events or instruction. We're seeing a lot of the gyms and a lot of personal trainers are now offering classes online. You can find yoga online. So if you have a service or something that can be offered online, please consider doing that. Host virtual online events and webinars in place of your in-person events. Work with landlords, vendors, lenders, suppliers, and others to negotiate and renegotiate your agreement to reduce your costs. I think a lot of people are in the same situation, and they're looking to make sure that they're getting some income in rather than no income. So have a conversation with everybody, all of your vendors. And finally, cooperate with the Main Street or a retail tenants group to implement disaster mitigation initiatives like joint promotions, gift certificate programs, or discounts to offset the loss of revenue. Next slide, please. Now I want to turn the floor over to Greer and Mark, who are available to answer your questions. As I said, I wanted to leave a lot of time for you all to ask a lot of questions. So I encourage you to utilize all of the tools in your toolbox, not just to weather this storm, but to emerge stronger. So please stay safe and thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Very much appreciate all of the resources that you outlined here. And as we wait for our participants to continue to ask their questions through the chat feature, I did also wanted to mention, in addition to all of the links that are available on the SBDC's website, we have also linked on our Maryland Chamber resource page to SBDC and a number of other resources. So there's no shortage of places, landing pages and otherwise, where folks can go to look for specific information that they're trying to find. So I put that out there as well, in addition to those that Laura provided. One question that we have here, and I have taken notes on a handful while we wait for those to come in, but one of our attendees asked if there's a running list of what changes are being made to SBDC's survival guide and if they're being dated. So I guess the question is, how do you know what changes were made since the last time you looked at the document, and if you all are doing it in a timeline or some other way?
Greer, do you want to handle that?
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's no kind of straightforward way to answer that. The SBA programs, the state programs, and the federal programs all are changing rapidly. So what we do is at the top of the document, we have listed the date and time that the changes were last made. And then from there, basically, you need to go in and make sure that the program that you're looking for hasn't had those changes. So what I recommend to the businesses who look at it is, for example, if you're looking into the PPP program, check it daily, same time every day, have a look. Typically what I will do is any major changes go on the first page and they're highlighted in a different color to get your attention. And then in those individual sections, I'll highlight the most recent changes as well.
That's great. Thank you, Greer. And a question that I have is, Laura, you mentioned that the SBDC through your platform is offering different types of support, classes, webinars, et cetera. And I wondered if you might provide some examples or some upcoming topics that folks might go to your site to look for in terms of different, classes or things that you're offering, if you had specific examples.
Sure. So next Thursday, we are having a Q&A. That's a webinar with the SBDC business consultants. And that's an opportunity for your constituents to come in and ask the consultants any questions they want. The focus will probably be more on the financial assistance available, but there will be 2 consultants online who can answer all of your questions. We also have a CEO Accelerator program that we've had for some years, and that really targets some of the larger small businesses and that we serve. And they are starting a 6-week coaching program that takes you through a number of I'm trying to pull it up now, solutions to thrive and survive in this current environment. And let me just go right quickly to it and give you a couple of examples of what's being covered in that one. And so that's a live webinar, And so they're covering issues like gaining knowledge on how to create systemized plans for gaining more money, building effective processes for more time, and to build equity, to sell and to make high impact presentations. They're dealing with raising money, obtaining customers, and inspiring your employees. So all of these will be covered, these topics and more will be covered over a 6-week period. So that begins next Friday, the 17th of April, and it will go for the next consecutive 6 Fridays at 9 o'clock from 9 to 10:30 a.m. And that's an online webinar.
That's great.
There's also a webinar for government contractors and one on HR.
Terrific. Thank you. So all of our participants, if you go to SBDC's website, you'll be able to find and access those events, and we'd encourage you to do that to the extent that there are specific topics that you're looking to learn more about. I have another question here. Maybe this is for Greer or perhaps Laura. Do 1099 employees need to file for the Paycheck Protection Program or PPP independently of our company filing?
Yeah, so I can take that. So actually, today is the first day that 1099s and self-employed individuals are allowed to file under the payroll protection program. So the way it works is, under their definitions, each 1099 is actually their own individual company. So the company that pays you cannot file on your behalf. Most banks are starting to take applications today. I know I heard M&T isn't taking them until Monday, but you want to reach out to the bank that you have a lending relationship with.
That's helpful. Thank you. I have a question here, and I know the answer, but I'll kick it over to you all. Can you speak to the Maryland-specific funding sources, the loans and grants that were previously available to businesses beyond what was offered at the federal level through the SBA?
Yeah, so the state had 4 different programs. They started off with the Layoff Aversion Fund, which was designed to help businesses transfer from the way they do business now to a more online model. They also had a grant fund, a loan fund, and then a manufacturing relief fund. So those first 3 that I mentioned, the Layoff Aversion Fund, the grant fund, and the loan fund, are all closed at the moment. They're completely funded. If you did apply for the grant or the loan fund, you can go back to that website and log in and check your status and see where you are in the queue. Now, the manufacturing relief fund, as of yesterday, and I may have outdated information, was still open, and that basically provided grants to manufacturers to kind of upscale their businesses if they could, to help produce personal protective equipment.
Thank you, Greer. Another question I have here, and this is one that I've gotten quite a bit here at the chamber, and I had reached out to Paul on your team about it as well, but any information that you can provide, first generally on sole proprietors and self-employed, any guidance you can or would be willing to provide them, but then also specifically information on sole proprietors and those that are self-employed applying for unemployment in Maryland. There have been a number of emerging challenges in that space, and just wondering if anyone of you from SBDC have addressed it.
Yeah, so sole proprietors are eligible for, sole proprietors 1099s, those one-person businesses, are still eligible for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, as well as the Payroll Protection Program, and also for unemployment. So we recommend that you look at your options and see what's going to fit best for what you're trying to do. The advance on the EIDL program is specific to your number of employees, so that may not be your best option. Long-term, the EIDL may help, but again, you really have to look at each of the programs, and we've laid them out really well in the guide to see which will work best for you. But of those still open through the Payroll Protection Program, the EIDL, you qualify for all of them. And you also qualify for unemployment through the state. However, again, they are having issues rolling out these programs just due to the sheer number of people. But what I'm recommending is you can go on the Maryland Unemployment Department's website and sign up for updates for when they will be able to take on sole proprietors, 1099s, and other small business owners.
Thanks, Greer. Another question that we had roll in is from a business owner that has only part-time employees, and they ask, are we eligible to apply for relief loans and grants?
Yes. So the way that the Payroll Protection Program is designed, it looks at your overall payroll costs. So it doesn't matter if they're part-time, full-time, if they work 2 hours a week. It's just going to be dependent on how much funding you can get if you have based on your payroll. EIDL program is also eligible if you have part-time employees, and then the Maryland funds were available, but again, they've all since closed.
Perfect, thank you. That's all the questions that I have here in the chat feature. One just sort of aggregate question that I had listed before I combed through all of those is if Laura or Greer could just maybe highlight for our attendees what really are the maybe 1 or 2 biggest challenges that you're hearing from business owners as they approach you for help at the moment. I know PPP has given folks a lot of headache, and we don't have to really dig into the details of that, but maybe just if we could close on sort of what are those 1 or 2 biggest challenges and how that you're hearing from across the small business community and how you're encouraging folks to address them. We can end on that.
Yeah, so I would say the one biggest one that encompasses everything is the uncertainty. Small businesses don't know when they're going to get the funding, whether it's through the EIDL, the PPP, or through any of the state programs. They don't know if they're eligible. They don't know when they're going to be eligible, when their bank's going to take it, and they don't know when this catastrophe is going to end. And the biggest thing that I've told entrepreneurs and the business owners I work with is this is not honestly as difficult as starting your business from the ground up was, because then you didn't have customers, you didn't have relationships with suppliers, you didn't know when money was coming, where it was going. Now you have these established businesses, you have your model, everything works. It's just a portion of it has been disrupted. So while it is a very trying time, it is something that if you really buckle down and you look at your financials and you look at your options and you reach out to an SBDC consultant, it is something that your business can weather. It's just going to take a lot of ingenuity. And that's something that I think small business owners are just kind of in panic mode. I'm going to apply for loans. I'm going to apply for grants. I'm going to, do A, B, C, D, and they're just trying to do everything at once. And it's really time to come back and almost focus on the nature of your business and say, what are my fixed costs? What are my ongoing costs? What do I need to do to get through this? It's really time to kind of look inward and kind of get more strategic for these businesses.
That's great and really helpful, and we appreciate it. We're closing in on our 30-minute mark here, and so I just wanted to say again to SBDC, Laura, Greer, thank you so much for joining us, for providing this information, and encourage our attendees again to visit these resource pages and also reach out directly to Laura, Greer, members from SBDC, and also certainly our staff here at the Maryland Chamber stands ready to help and assist in whatever way that we can. So with that, I just want to say thank you very much and stay safe, everyone.